I'm honestly hyped to have you on, dude. I worked really hard to get the follow back, just so you know.
Yeah, so dude, sometimes I just I don't notice. So like I feel like Twitter is also kind of fucked because I've like seen that I'm unfollowing people who I followed before that I was like, dude, what? This happened with me and Kells actually like a couple weeks ago too. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's definitely what it was. Um, but no, it's a good time in the market. Honestly, I think to have this convo. I know a little bit about you. I did a little research, but I have a lot of questions for you. I think
Uh-oh.
I think the best place to start is like I'm curious, like what are you spending all your time doing right now? Like what are you obsessed with in crypto? How are you spending your days? How are you spending your time?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. I like it's kind of weird because like the quote unquote like job of a VC is pretty nebulous, right? Because it's like, okay, cool, it's all power law driven. So I don't know. I mostly am like, all right, let me try to use new products. Let me talk to people. I obviously am spend a ton of time on Telegram and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, always sourcing, always trying to meet people who are building new stuff or trying to find stuff that like the fund can actually buy on like the liquid side. So yeah, I don't know. I think part of it is like probably like 30% of my day is taking pitch meetings. Like
Ooh.
30% is writing or like thinking about what I want to write about. And then maybe like the rest is keeping up on what's going on like in macro in traditional markets because I think that matters for crypto. Um, Talking to people, seeing if seeing else like trying products, seeing what's going on, and then like talking to our portfolio founders. So yeah, I don't know. It's like it depends on the day, but yeah, when it goes in like fits and starts because like you have these periods where there's just like insane explosion of stuff, and it's like you just feel like you're on the internet for like 20 hours a day, and then it has these periods of like feels like nothing's going on. So yeah, kind of
Dude,
depends.
30% of your day is pitch meetings. That sounds kind of brutal. What is the alpha? What is the perfect?
Dude, well, what I do, to be fair, usually I try to like do meeting stuff like within a 3 or 4 day window so that I have like at least one full day to kind of like chill and think or like spend time reading and doing some of that kind of like quieter stuff.
What is the alpha for like the perfect crypto pitch in one of these meetings?
Bro, if you have something that like actually solves a problem, like cool, done. Um, so much crypto like you know this like so much crypto stuff is just very narrative driven and so like somebody sees some success and you see like legitimately 100 all of a sudden like everybody's pitching XYZ narrative and it's like okay like the person who had this original idea 12 months ago is the person who's going to benefit like you pitching this today is too late and so I think like we see that all the time but I, I don't really see that changing. It kind of is what it is.
Yeah, you have to like fight through the slop. Can you
Yeah,
give
yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of slop, and like now everybody can code a lot easier with some of these like AI tools, and so it's like, bro, the slop is like inflecting higher. It's breaking out.
um, can you give me a high level like what your role is with Compound VC, and then like what they focus on, like what type of stuff you guys invest
Yeah,
in, what
like
you're
what are we
looking
up
for.
to?
Yeah, what's your edge?
Um, yeah, it's funny. I'll give you like a little bit of lore. So I
Please.
actually joined Compound through Twitter, which is
Oh, that's
kind
sick.
of funny. Yeah. I've been like a lurker on crypto Twitter for probably a decade, but never tweeted until COVID. And
A
so,
decade?
um, yeah, dude, I'm a
Damn.
boomer.
Damn, bro.
Um, yeah, yeah. So I spend all my time on the crypto side. So like we invest in a bunch of stuff, probably like three verticals. One is crypto, and then the other two are kind of like traditional AI, ML, robotics, and healthcare. And so yeah, I spend
Healthcare.
95% of my time on crypto stuff. So yeah, we do a bunch of stuff. So I'll see kind of like the other trad venture stuff, which is cool. And everybody on the team is like super deep in those areas. So it's I don't know, it's an interesting mix to see what else is going on outside of like our bubble. But yeah, I'm still crypto pilled.
You said healthcare at the end.
Yeah, kind of like synthetic bio and like computational bio stuff. So like all of the biohacking things that are going
Ah,
on. There's just like yeah, there's like crazy stuff with like how people do drug development and yeah, drug discovery. It's goes above my head when I like listen to some of these things from people on the team, but it's kind of it's sick to be honest.
and is a lot of that healthcare like biohacking stuff? Is it crypto related or separate?
No, I mean we've done some DeSci stuff because yeah, I think our view is just generally all those areas are just going to keep converging over time. So like you're seeing it a little bit in crypto AI, you're seeing it a little bit in DeSci, but the healthcare stuff is predominantly non-crypto related. I mean, like more recently we see it just because like founders in my partners like domains of expertise on that side are more interested. They're kind of like, hey, you guys do crypto too. Like, can you explain some of this stuff? Like, what it seems interesting. So we see a little bit of that, but that stuff is predominantly like trad healthcare,
I
non
got
crypto.
I got wrecked at some DeFi stuff 2024. So I have some experience in the domain. What
Nice, nice.
what would you say is like the state of crypto VC right now? Are more things
Oh
getting
man,
funded? Is
dude.
it
So
upticking?
all right. Yeah. This it's kind of weird. I'm like crypto VC is it's a very I don't know. It's like a very clicky kind of weird space.
It is weird. From the
Um,
outside, it's like feels so like shadowy and like scary.
it, it's it's weird. I don't know. Like people on the one hand, I feel like people they like don't want to say the reality of things that don't work because it's like I don't know, like oh if I have hitched my career to this asset class and it goes to zero, you kind of like look like a moron. So like nobody ever wants to say oh this isn't working or this is dumb or like a lot of these returns end up stinking for a bunch of funds. Like nobody actually wants to say those things out loud because I don't know. It's like I guess a bad look. But to me, it's kind of like who really cares? I don't know. I think people just like trust and are more comfortable when you just like say what you actually mean. So like when people are like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" I'll just be like, "Yeah, that thing. Like, I don't know who's using that. This thing's like the product sucks. Like all those things." Um, but I don't know. Like maybe maybe not the best approach depending on who you ask because there is like a lot of deal sharing and you can see it on cap tables like a lot of funds it's like oh these funds work with these funds and they're like kind of always on the same cap table so it's kind of I don't know it's a weird industry like I wasn't doing venture before so it was all new to me um and yeah, I don't know. It looks a lot like so I had like a TradFi background, so it looks a lot like that. Just instead of banking, it's like tech. It's like the same personas.
Is there to your like opener there? Is there any party that feels like you have spent like 10 years in crypto waiting for this thing to take over the world and it just might not happen?
No, dude. I mean, like it's it's crazy to actually see it happening. Like thinking about like even sometimes like the last couple years, it's like I look and um like all right, Bitcoin's like 120K. Like what?
Yeah.
Like you almost can't believe it because it's like okay, like people in your life, like I mean, like literally all my friends and family think I'm kind of a moron. They're like, dude, what? Like crypto is a zero. Why do you spend time on this stuff? And it's like now all like all these people are buying it in their like 401ks or they're buying it in the ETFs. So it's on the one hand, it's kind of like a little bit validating, but then on the other hand, I do probably like 2 weeks every year. I'm kind of like, all right, so what are the problems we're actually solving outside of kind of like store of value and then stable coins? So I don't know. I think it's like normal to have those like moments um of like introspection or like reflection on it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm an optimist, so I'm always like everybody's too doomer.
Yeah, everyone's so doomer. I get a
Things are gonna
little
be awesome.
I get a little doomer sometimes too. Okay, this might be a gay question, but like, what is the biggest problem crypto has to solve outside of stablecoins and store value?
That is a good question. What's the biggest problem?
Yeah, or
Um,
like a slew of problems.
yeah, it's weird. So I think like there's two parts. There's like the kind of there's like the societal thing of cool actually having like global access and flattening that is like a huge I don't know. That like matters a ton. Like where you're born, like the birth lottery is insane when you think about it.
Insane, yeah.
It's
Fuck.
like, oh cool, you were just born in like this country that has no banking. Like you're just turbo wrecked forever. That's like ridiculous. Um, and it's like cool, you were born in a state or like in some place and like you grow up super wealthy and like cool, you won the birth lottery. Nice. So like you start from, some level where things are easier. So I think like that, I think the more that's why DeFi and all the stuff on chain, I think matters a ton, is like it makes it so literally anybody can like it at least flattens the starting point for more people, which I think is yeah, I mean that's a big deal. You can kind of see it across like society. So that's like maybe like a I don't know one example. I think like the actual kind of non sociological stuff is some of like the network infrastructure buildouts, which again, like I don't know what that looks like, but the deep end stuff has always been interesting to me for that reason. Like, if we
Okay.
think energy is a problem, like cool, like why can't we build some of this stuff like in a super global distributed way that feels directionally more interesting than I don't know, like a couple power plants.
Hmm.
But all that stuff is still like all right, TBD. Like, can we do it? Do we have people who like can kind of like chew glass and bang their head against a wall for a decade? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. I hope, right?
At the same time, it's like I don't know. It's also a lot of people like the speculation side of it is people shit on it for a long time, but I think more people are recognizing that it's not going anywhere, and it's also like okay, this isn't it's not the worst thing in the world. There's like way worse stuff you can like you can go into a casino tomorrow and lose legitimately all your money. Like nobody like freaks out about that. So
Yeah.
I
Welcome
don't
to
know.
Pump
There's
Dot
like a
Fun.
little bit of that poo pooing on the speculation stuff.
Yeah. Welcome to Pump Dot Fun.
Yeah. Now you don't have to walk into a casino to
Yeah.
do it.
The bird lottery thing is actually nuts. I feel like I don't think about that enough.
It's crazy. Like yeah, like okay,
Like, do you think
cool. You just
crypto actually solves this?
I think it at least yeah, I actually do. Like if it I mean, there's like some baseline amount of technology you need. Like, okay, cool, you need internet access. That's kind of been solved, like hasn't been solved, but most of the world now has internet access, and so then okay, then you have to like get lucky, obviously, and find these weird groups of people. Like, okay, was it hard to find crypto like 7, 8, 9 years ago? Yeah. Is it hard to find today? Like, way less so. So I actually do think it. I do think it like directionally does do that. But then you have like the survivorship bias
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, of cool the guys who like did 1,000x and a 10,000x on some meme coin. There's tens of thousands of bodies that zeroed out behind that. So yeah, but I don't know. That was like a larger problem related to some of your Gooner takes
Yeah.
that you tweeted about recently.
Never stop clicking. I mean, dude. Okay. What do you think of? I wasn't gonna talk about the AI Goon Bots, but like, I mean, what the fuck? Do you what
Yeah, what do I think about the Goon bots?
Yeah, what do you think about the AI Goon Bots? Like, is that a reason to be doomer?
I don't know. Like, I don't. So, are you a social like? How much social media do you like regularly use? Are you like? I have no idea. Are you a
Um,
TikTok person?
I probably spend 10 hours a day on Twitter, 8 to 10 hours a day on
Yeah.
Twitter, and I probably spend like an hour between TikTok, Instagram Reels.
Okay, that's not that bad, right?
It's not awful. It's half my day, but
Not non Twitter, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, non Twitter. Maybe like a YouTube video a day,
Yeah.
as well. But it's mostly CT, which I like to think is high signal relative to what you could be doing.
Yeah. 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 That's that. I kind of. I don't know. I think I think those bots and the Gooner bot stuff and all the AI companion stuff is. It feels like a necessary evil to get to a stage where it's actually useful for things like therapy or I don't know. I think there's other use cases for it. I don't know. There's definitely a world in which everybody's brain kind of just gets melted and it's just speed running TikTok slop, but everybody's using it all the time. That is scary, but I don't know. I
Yeah,
like to think that there's some semblance of like the population who will just kind of avoid it and be like cognizant of how their attention span gets fried. But I don't know. Maybe that's too optimistic.
I
Um,
posted my like I screenshotted my my rant about how like it's gonna ruin the world or whatever. And I posted it on my Instagram story, and I had like a bunch of people swipe up that are not crypto people, and they're like, "This is probably bullish for like Bitcoin, isn't it?" And I was like, "Fuck." But the AI goon like the world getting addicted to AI goon bots is like long crypto.
it's a it's that's yeah, that's kind of sad.
It's kind of dark, right?
It's directionally probably right to be honest, but like I don't know. It's what this is the thing about like the trading stuff is you kind of have to you have like this view of the future world and then you're like, all right, what's the best way to express this if I want to benefit from it? And yeah, I don't know. Like that world, you let me know if you find a way
Hmm.
to like long that future, but I don't know. It seems like just another one of these things that I don't know. I don't once like some of my normie friends start bringing it up, then I'll be like, all right, are you guys if you guys are using this, maybe everybody is fried.
Yeah, it's like somewhere in between. It's never as bad as it seems, and if only you knew how bad it actually is. It's like somewhere in the middle
Yeah,
there.
that's the problem is like that is also just all this information stuff. It feels like it's exhausting to actually try to not like to make sure you're not just consuming garbage all the time. It feels like that's getting more and more exhausting to actually attempt to do that, which is not great, I think.
But,
Um,
back to the VC thing, real quick. Like,
yeah.
is there like a trend? Like, is there a trend happening where teams or a lot of teams aren't raising traditional VC anymore, but sort of just like raising from angels and then just like launching a coin,
Yeah.
where VC has like
Well,
almost a branding problem? Like, how has that evolved?
I
How,
think there's definitely a realization that too many like too much VC money got raised in 2022, like 21 into 22, just because nobody had exposure to crypto and coin prices were going up, and so you had everybody was like, "Oh, I need exposure," and people raised way too much money. Like this is kind of like the problem is if you raise a massive fund, then you have to deploy it, and so you start just either deploying into garbage or you start marking up like early rounds that are competitive and it's like I don't care what the price is, I'll just pay for it because I have to deploy anyway. And so that's like turns into that's how you get these shitty coins that launch at crazy FDVs that nobody actually wants to buy, and then everybody gets mad at VC. And it's like, yeah, I mean, they should be mad. This is all the price discovery happened in private. So I think that is yeah, that was definitely a problem and gave VCs kind of like a I don't know, people are like fuck VCs, which I don't know. It's like fair sentiment. I think what you saw with like Hyperliquid, there's a little bit of that there where you have kind of this angel group and early power user group who got super rich off the airdrop, and they're like, cool, like we'll just fund a bunch of people building on Hyperliquid, which is, yeah, I don't know. I think that's also good. If you don't, I always been like, you should raise as little money as you need, like,
Really?
as possible. Yeah, yeah. I think like I'm biased because we write smaller checks at earlier stages, so I'm always like, you really should just raise for like, I don't know, 18 to 24 months and have some milestone that you're like, by this date, like this is what we want the product to look like. This is what we want users to look like. This is like kind of what we want shipped. And then have an inflection point and be like, cool, if we can do it, like here's the timeline. Let's raise as little money as possible to do that. And if you over raise, you have run into all kinds of problems. And so like that's always my opinion when people ask me, even if they're not like pitching and they're just like, hey, yo, Smac, I want to talk about like this idea I have. I'll be like, bro, this is what I think you should do. And sometimes it's like you shouldn't actually raise money from venture. Sometimes it is, but yeah, that's those like, I don't know. That's just generally, I think you have a higher success rate if you can do that. But the problem, everybody treats like raises as if it's like the or even TGEs as if it's like the end of the company. It's like the biggest celebration of like, cool, we raised $5 million. It's like that is a milestone. Like that matters. Cool. Now you actually have to do like build the thing.
Yeah. Now it's like time to actually start working.
Yeah, it's like sick. You raised a couple $1 million. Like you should celebrate it. It's like cool. Raising money sucks, and it's great to be done, and it's everybody's least favorite thing to do. But it's like okay, now it's time to like now you spend a shitload of time working.
I know this is like supposed to be a crypto conversation, but why isn't anyone going public anymore? I know there's been a
Yeah,
couple
I
like
don't know.
Circle just happened and whatnot, but
Yeah, I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see a lot more IPOs. The window was kind of closed because of like I don't know Biden's like the Biden presidency and kind of that administration had it effectively like nobody wanted to go public, and so I actually think we'll see a bunch more IPOs probably the next like 12 to 18 months, and probably back half of this year. There's like a Besant has his three-leg stool thing. The back half of this year will be some of the deregulation. So yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see a lot more, and that's kind of like as Dempsey and I were actually talking about this today. Was he like you saw this in 21 where everybody just spacked like crazy, and there was just a zillion SPACs, and it was like out of control. People were
Chamath
just
mode.
like Chamath, yeah, Chamath is just like launching a SPAC every like 2 weeks. Just dumping on all his followers. So I think like that we'll see that at some point with just uh, I don't know like who's the marginal buyer for the 100th ETH or BTC Treasury company. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll definitely see that many of them. And IPO window will probably be the same. Like there'll be companies like some of the larger crypto public private companies will probably go public and people will want to buy those IPOs, and then we'll start seeing some names where like a lot of CT will even be like I've been in crypto, like what is this company? Like we'll probably start to see that, and that'll be that'll be when I'm like, all right, I gotta start selling some
Yeah,
of
yeah,
these
yeah.
coins.
How brutal is the inevitable collapse of these ETH and BTC treasury companies going to be? What do we flip?
You should have Noah on from Thayer Research.
I don't even know I don't even know who it is. I
Dude,
would
yeah,
love to.
Trader Noah on Twitter. You should have
That
him on.
okay? Say less.
Um, he
Just
is
followed him.
he was actually tweeting about this yesterday, which was he's like people just don't learn this lesson. You can't put $1 into a box and pull out like $2. It's just not how it works.
But you can for a couple months,
Um,
right?
yeah, for sure. Well, this I messaged him and I was like, I agree with you, but also we should argue about this in person because this is like the world is moving toward way more towards narrative trading. And I think crypto is pulling TradFi towards that world. Crypto's always been super focused on what does the chart look like and what is the narrative. I think part of that is the charts, like technical analysis actually works better in crypto because there's fewer fundamentals behind it. So everybody's looking at the chart. And so you can't there's way less ability. There's no buyer group, or there's a smaller buyer group who can look at it and say, oh, it's probably worth around this dollar amount because it makes this much money, or this is the multiple. So everybody is looking at it as a momentum trade and as a chart of like, oh, if it loses this level, like it's wrecked. Like we got to sell it. So there's way more mind share, I think, of why charting works so much better in crypto. I think it works. I still think it works in TradFi in some cases, but that's at least my thesis on it. And so crypto is kind of like, yeah, narratives, momentum, the chart, which feels as if directionally that's the way TradFi has traded more and more the last call it post COVID. Like retail in TradFi is way more interested in narratives and way more interested in buying things that are like, yeah, in the news. And I mean, these guys are trying to offer SpaceX shares. That's because retail is like, yo, I need SpaceX exposure.
I made this tweet the other day, and I was like, where can I long a treasury company that buys treasury companies that buys treasury companies?
You're gonna be able to read. You're gonna be able to quote tweet that in like 12 months.
Well, Suzu made a tweet,
like,
and he was like, a treasury company that buys treasury companies. Like, who's building this? And I was like, bruh.
It's gonna exist. There'll be a ticker for that, and you'll be able to quote tweet it and be like, "Yo, here's the ticker. You can actually long this now."
No, bro. So
Yeah.
is it one of these things that like we just violently go up for probably longer than you think, and then eventually the whole thing just cascades the other direction?
I think, yeah, I would say going into this year is kind of like the least sure I've been of where markets are going generally. Like every year at the beginning of the year, I write this kind of public, yeah, this is what I'm thinking about markets. And I've done it probably the last like 3 or 4 years. And this year is like the first time where I kind of I felt like way less sure of what I actually thought would happen. And yeah, I still kind of feel that way. Like there's just like, I don't know, there's just so many moving parts.
Yeah.
This is part of why I don't know, markets are like, they're the best. It's like it's a
The
Rubik's
best.
cube kind of that's like kind of always change. It's like fighting back. So I find it super interesting, but like I'm very unsure.
So for
I think we still
for
go
what
up.
you are sure of, and now that we're like, I don't know, 6 months into the year, what is your
Yeah.
take on where we are in the market and where it's going?
Yeah, I think we go higher. So I think there's probably the back half of the year is going to be good, like on aggregate. I doubt there's as much volatility as we saw in the first half, but yeah, I think second half of the year will be good. It seems like some of the stuff in TradFi, like there's all kinds of stuff where you're seeing some of the like the ARC SPACs breaking out, and those are kind of like signs, at least to me, that there's a risk on appetite. Like people want to take more risk. So I kind of see the back half of the year being good. I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I couldn't tell you like when when that stops. Like it's a little. It's yeah. I don't know. I think people want to bid risk assets, and I think that's probably going to be true for the next couple months. Um, I don't know when I don't know what it is that makes them stop, but yeah, it's definitely more fragile than it was like 12 months ago. Um, which, to be fair, people are always people like to bear post. Everybody likes to like talk about why, like they point to this is a top signal, this is a top signal, this is a top signal, but they've been doing that for 12 months. Like people got mad. Bitcoin went from like 18K to 60, and everyone's like, all right, this is it. Like it's Bitcoin's up 3.5x. Like there's not a lot of juice left. Cause it's just, yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people were offsides then. And yeah, they just kind of want it to end so they can get better entries.
Makes sense. I like that though.
Yeah.
It's hard not to be bullish right now.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. But the other thing is like, I always am like, what is the stuff that would change your mind? Because then it's like, at least if you think about it ahead of time, then you can go, cool, the stuff that I thought would change my mind like 6 weeks ago or last month, if you start seeing it happen, then you kind of have to be like, all right, it like I thought this would be bearish and like prices aren't reacting to it. Am I right? Or like am I being complacent? So I think doing that ahead of time is way better than seeing a headline and being like, and then making kind of like a emotional decision of shit, this means everything's over, or awesome, we're going to like Valhalla.
What's your stance
But
on like how writing affects trading performance and trading psychology? Because you write a lot
yeah,
and you write really good stuff.
yeah, dude, I used to, I still don't, so in Discord, I've been bad about it lately, but I used to write every single day, at least something.
Whoa.
And I think you kind of have to do that if you're trading. Like some of the traders I respect on Twitter who are way smaller accounts will do daily positional, like they'll do it every day. Like this is my position. I long this, I shorted this is what I'm thinking, and they do it every day and they just keep a running tab. I used to do that in Discord for myself because otherwise I think you can kind of trick your own brain after the fact and be like, no, no, I wasn't bearish then, I was
Uh,
bullish, or like, no, no, I didn't think that, or I never thought. Like you can definitely trick your own mind. So if you write it down, then like every once in a while you can kind of go back and look at the moments where, like Liberation Day, right? You can look and say, okay, what was I actually thinking the days? What was I thinking the days after it? And I think it just makes you way better over time if you're doing it. Like to me, the best traders are always have a journal, and it's like personal of what they actually write in it. But that I think is the only way you can actually get better at trading if you're doing it like high frequency. For me, I don't do that anymore, so it doesn't. I'm not like day trading, so I kind of am like I have to get the big themes right and like the big inflection points and moments right. And if I can do that with, the a couple times, that's kind of the goal. Like you could have got the Solana trade and the hype trade and done literally nothing else. And it's like, cool. You nail those two trades and nothing else, Matt. Like you could miss everything.
which is crazy. I think that's one of the
Crazy.
it's one of the things that trading Soul on chain so frequently has like broken in my brain a little bit, where it's like you could literally just make the one yearly trade and you don't have to do anything else.
Well, dude, did you like the Trump thing too? That the problem is this is the bad thing about the whole 24/7 stuff is you could be locked in for months at a time and doing I'm barely sleeping, I'm up all the time, I'm grinding like crazy on chain, and then you just like are traveling or you have plans for 2 days or something, and the trade you've been waiting for a year or 2 years like
Yeah,
shows up and you're just not at your computer,
it's
and
so
you're just
brutal.
like, yeah.
Shout out Donald Trump though.
Yeah,
And here's the question: or you said, some of the best like small traders will post
yeah,
their setups every day on Twitter. What's the alpha for finding the best smaller account traders on Twitter? Like, how do you find the sharps?
yeah. I so I would say like I spend more time. I haven't really traded on chain in probably since the end of the Trump stuff. I mean, I've like, yeah, not meaningfully. And so I kind of am interested in the macro kind of discretionary people. Um, and I think like you just have to. I don't know. I'm on Twitter a lot too. I think you just kind of like see some of them they're like they pop up in group chats sometimes, and then you see them on Twitter. And I think the people, like, I can give you a couple people who I've followed, and I either see them replying to people I know
Mm-hmm.
with like a comment that is interesting, where I'm like, oh, this person like really understands this like random ass like treasury yield concept. And it's like, okay, well, like why is this guy showing up on like on CT? And I think there's more and more of these kind of like discretionary traders who are ex TradFi and kind of just view crypto as like a mechanism to express those views, and they're like, cool, this is like the longest tail thing,
Ah,
and I'll do it here. So I think it's like generally stuff like that. Like you had Felix on the other day.
he's so bro. That guy is like gigabrain.
Felix
Yeah,
is a beast. Yeah, Felix is a beast. And people should follow him, but also like some of these people show up from like that kind of like Felix is, I guess, I don't know. I consider him crypto, but like the podcast is more macro focused.
for sure.
So you have like those types of crossover things. So I'll just follow like a bunch of people, and then I just kind of like sleuth on Twitter if I see smart or smart comments or things that I'm like, oh, this guy gets it. Yeah, that's at least how I do it. But I don't know. I guess you could go into like into some of those podcast chats and follow those, but I don't. Yeah, those are a little too chaotic for me.
Yeah, wait. Do you think more talent is flowing in or out of crypto in 2025?
I think in. Yeah, I think in. I think if you had asked me last year, I would have said out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think.
What changed?
I think. I actually think that as much as the ETF stuff was kind of like cool, people are buying our bags. I think actually the the kind of like the social stink of working in crypto was lifted for a lot of people, where it was, I think it was maybe people in tech and to a lesser extent finance looked at it as kind of like this degen thing that is not a serious place, which a lot of it is not serious, but the like regulatory stuff I think allows people way less career risk to say, yeah, I'm gonna go see what's going on in crypto, or like
Yeah,
I'm gonna spend more time there. So I think that actually was a huge unlock away from even like, cool, we can buy ETFs. I think the talent unlock is probably going to be just as big, but probably will take time, to be honest.
that's
The AI people, I think, still think crypto's a joke. So
they do. They
like the
do.
trad AI people for sure, they're like, you guys
I mean,
are
I don't
don't know
blame
what you're talking
them
about.
because they're fucking making so much goddamn money. Who's right? You know.
Yeah, they get their like NBA money contracts.
I
So
know they're making. OpenAI researcher makes more than the fucking MVP. So it's like
yeah, yeah,
this is
it's true. But then it's like, bro, Meta's spending like 60 $80 billion a year. What's 100 mil a year to get like the LeBron of AI researchers?
they look underpaid. This is like a callback to some of the VC stuff. What's the best investment you personally have ever made?
A bit. I mean, I first time I bought Bitcoin was February 2015.
That's disgusting.
So that,
What about like investing in the company?
dude, I fumbled Doge hard.
Ooh,
I owned like insane amounts of Doge in 2016 and 17. I think I sold like basically right before it went up like forever.
like how big of
So
a fumble
that's,
you think?
I mean, I don't even know like it went up like 100,000x, or like it
Ugh.
went up like yeah, like the chart just went straight up
It's definitely
forever.
helpful to go back one day and figure out the exact number. It's
No,
good.
yeah,
Good
that's
for the psyche, yeah, you know.
Well, somebody in some of my group chats have asked me, I'm like, bro, there's 0% chance I'm ever doing that math.
What about through venture?
Venture. Well, I don't. I mean, so the first venture investment I made was like post COVID. So,
Ah,
um, yeah, I mean, those things like hopefully
it take time,
become.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, not yeah. Hopefully, they take 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. I know that's in crypto terms, that's insane,
Ah, you're killing me.
but yeah, there's I don't know. We don't write a ton of checks, and kind of the goal is we want to be right the times we do. So I don't know. TBD. TBD.
What's your
Soon.
take on what's your take on like angel investing if you're like a
It's
trader?
it's a really expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Super expensive hobby. Yeah.
Do you think if
It's
you made a lot of money for the first time trading solo on chain meme coins 2024, should you be writing angel checks?
I don't think so personally, but it kind of depends on the bankroll, I guess. If it's something that you actually genuinely are like, this is interesting, and I kind of just like want to work with these people and stay close to what's going on, then I think you can treat it kind of as like a tuition and just assume, all right, I'm probably not going to make money on any of this stuff. And really, how much am I willing to spend a year to um yeah, to either like grow your network or to stay closer to like what builders are doing. And if you enjoy it and like you're actually using the products, cool. I think if you make a shitload of money on chain and then think I should angel invest because this will actually level up how much money I can make, that I think is probably not the right approach. I think it can, like, sure, it can work, but I think that's, yeah, I think it's, if you go in with the first mindset, you probably actually perform better too than if you do the second. But I would treat it as a tuition. Um, yeah, it can be. I'll also say, like, if you want to be in crypto and you're like, this stuff matters, it'll matter for a long time, I'm gonna do this for a long time, then it also probably makes a little bit more sense if you can do it to do it. Because you're just gonna run into more people. And yeah, I mean, your network matters over time. So that's at least how I think about it. But I generally am like, you probably are not going to make money.
I like that expensive hobby thing is so funny.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Wait, didn't you tweet about that? Did you tweet about like how
There's this,
how has it been? Have you like what is your experience been? I
okay,
guess.
this clip went like kind of viral of me complaining about angel investing, and then I got dunked on by Kobe because I guess like technically I am profitable. Um, it's
On
just
your angel, on your all your
I
angel
am
stuff.
I am well
Oh, shout out to you.
well I'm like 1 for 8 or 9, but the one was
That's
moonshot.
good.
The one was moonshot, and so that was like a nice check. Um,
That's dude. 1 for 8 is like
See, this is the thing.
very
I was
very
complaining,
good.
and then everyone's like, "Dude, what the fuck are you talking? Like, shut the fuck up!" Right? Everyone was like coming after me. I think I just didn't get like technical enough about it. Like, I didn't pay. I just like didn't really get as like math focused as I should have, and
Yeah.
I wasn't like calculated enough. I was kind of just like throwing out checks to friends and whomever, and then not really having a plan, and then getting frustrated when like every company in crypto you invest in like doesn't launch the token, or they like bridge chain. Like, that's like a big thing. Like, I invested in, like 6 or 7 companies that just like never launch.
Yep.
But then I also feel like I didn't have a full enough understanding of how that game works, and so all things considered, I've done pretty well. But like moving forward, I kind of like sat down and wrote a little bit of a plan, like how many things I want to invest in, what type. Because I also was writing some checks to friends that were like technical
Yeah.
investments I didn't understand, and that's like I don't ever want to be in that. That's a skill issue, right? So
Yeah. That's yeah.
I think I'm gonna approach it a little bit differently for the back half of 2025, and I'm optimistic about it. I had to just move my timelines back though. Like I asked you, what was your best
Yeah.
venture investment, and you're like, well, I only started investing post COVID. I don't even know yet, which is like my
Yeah.
timeline is way off from that, right? I'm like, fuck, I invested 3 months ago, like when Bill. So I think I
Yeah.
just have to look at it through a different lens.
Yeah. That's fair. That's very fair. I think honestly, this is, I don't know if this may or may not surprise you, but a lot of VCs are in the same boat. Like they don't think about price, ownership, dilution. What is the outcome to return, quote unquote, my fund, or like to have a meaningful return for the fund? So like, if you're you're one person, you can kind of, you have more flexibility, but it's not like those are the same things that regular, like, yeah, crypto VCs are also not doing. So yeah.
Yeah. What percentage of funds do you think out, like, what's the metric to outperform? Like, is it S&P? Is it like Bitcoin? Like, what percentage of funds outperform the market?
Um, well, so like venture funds typically, I'd say you get an allocation, like the LPs look at all funds and they're like, okay, cool. We have a lot of money. We're going to put some in the venture capital bucket.
Uh,
And so they're like, cool, here's money for that. And I won't see that money for I don't know. I'll start getting my returns depending on the fund 5, 7, 10 years from now. So that's like how they kind of bucket stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then I think like from a fund perspective, you can't really look at it against Bitcoin if you're doing private investing because it's just
Yeah.
like that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, I don't if you put a gun to my head and was like, how are people doing relative to Bitcoin? I would say most are underperforming. Um, Part of that is just Bitcoin depends on when it started, but if you look at like Bitcoin performance, it's hard to outperform Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But it's
Fair.
also just like a different game, and it's not the metric that venture funds typically are measured against. Liquid funds, different story. But
Okay. Okay. Valid. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
yeah, you generally look at it as like what year did the fund start, and you're measured against kind of your peers in that year because right, like a 2020 vintage versus like a 2023 vintage. So like vintage being okay, cool. Look at every fund that raised in 2020. What is the performance? Are you like
Mm-hmm.
top 10% in that, top 25? Are you bottom 10? So that's kind of like how people look at it because the environment is matters a ton for venture. So yeah, you're kind of you're looked at versus peers in the kind of vintage that you've raised the funded.
Makes sense. Yeah. The Bitcoin comp is like doesn't make sense. I get that.
Yeah, I mean, we had in one of our slides this year was like everybody talks about venture returns being so great, but like you should have just bought Nvidia like 15 years ago. It's like Nvidia whooped everybody's at like, and
Yeah.
obviously that's not something that you can just do every year, but the comp is kind of like yeah,
Yeah.
like it's hard.
What's your take on? I've seen you tweeting a little bit about Bitcoin dominance is topped all season.
I think so. I think yeah, I think Bitcoin dominance kind of ran out of steam just the last week or two. I don't necessarily know what the answer for that is. I mean, you can kind of look at it. It's almost the invert. It is kind of the inverse of the ETH BTC chart. If you look at Bitcoin dominance, like they're
Yeah.
pretty close because of how big it is. But I think, yeah, I mean, a lot of this ETH stuff, it looks like it's finally bottomed. Uh, People have been saying it's a bottom on that ETH BTC for 2.5
Yeah.
years
Like
and just
a
been
decade.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's what I find also funny of like the ETH people now being like, ha ha ha, you guys are all like,
Yeah. You've been
it's
wrong for the
like,
last like
bro,
3 years.
like yeah, it's literally the meme of like the down only chart and then the tiny green arrow of like, okay, but I actually do think it has the ETH BTC as bottom there. So yeah, I think we get an alt season for a couple weeks probably. Maybe I mean 2 months would be awesome, but that's maybe ambitious.
Couple
And
more
then
weeks.
and then yeah, I don't know. Like Bitcoin kind of feels like it drifts higher. I think I don't know what you buy in alt season personally. Like
What
probably have to
sectors?
just
What
chart
sectors are you
everything versus
interested in?
BTC. Sector wise, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I don't I don't look at I don't look at like 100 coins because I
Mhm.
don't feel like I just I'm bad if I'm looking at too many things. Like I can't
Of course.
actually develop an opinion on like, oh, I like this coin or that coin. DeFi, I think I don't know. I have a TradFi background, so that stuff intuitively always makes sense to me.
Mhm.
So looking at that, I'll probably sit down at some point this weekend and just look at a shitload of coins versus BTC and be like, all right,
Okay.
what what looks strong against Bitcoin? And yeah, that's kind of like the start of the process, I think. But yeah, that's I don't know.
I like your
Anything
take.
that looks good versus Bitcoin, um, probably yeah has a good alt season if we actually get it.
Okay, this is like a off topic. I won't keep you very much longer. I told you 30 minutes. It's like an hour. It's like an hour. You're
It's
interesting though.
cool.
I think you're gonna be interesting. Okay, this is like one of the last things I'm gonna ask you, off topic kind of, but like, how do you get smarter? Like, what do you spend your time doing? Who are you talking to? What are you reading? What are you scrolling to
Yeah.
just have like get smarter in markets, but also just like life generally? Because it feels like you have pretty defined worldviews.
Um. Yeah. So somebody asked me this actually the other day on macro stuff, and I like macro, so it's interesting. Like I like spending my time looking at it, but I have like kind of a steady state of 5 or 6 things that I do or that I listen to or that I read every week, and I spend probably an hour and a half, maybe like an hour and a half every day doing that. But it doesn't feel like work because I'm like, oh, I actually care like about what's going on. I think you have to. I do think people like reading long form stuff feels like the best way to do that. Um, I don't know, like the internet, you kind of just like always have to click the links.
Hmm.
That's like always been my strategy is, all right, click the links of like when you find something interesting that you like read it and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. There's probably gonna be links in there. It's like, all right, like what are they referencing? And then you kind of like go down these weird rabbit holes always. Um, and then the non-doomer version of AI is you, I would get I would use like the pro version of these things for like deep research and just kind of like get used to like almost learning on them where you're kind of like, okay, what are like random things that you find interesting and then asking for sources because that's a good way to just like these things crawl the entire internet and they can surface stuff that like you'd literally never find if you were just like trying to do it yourself. Um, and I try to share. I have like a Telegram channel where I just literally dump everything I ever read into it because I'm like, I don't know, maybe other people will find this interesting. And so when I started doing that, a couple people were like, "Hey, I'm gonna start doing that," and so they send me theirs, and I'm like, "All right, cool. I'll like read some of the random stuff that you're finding." So I don't know. There's not like an easy way, but that's at least what I do.
I like that. I think the long form reading, like click the links, is not the trainers, but the other ones is a good take.
Our brains, yeah, the dopamine stuff is real. I saw Z tweeting the other day about how he's like, "When's the last time you read for 2 straight hours?"
I don't know if I've ever read for 2 straight hours, but yeah. um. Okay, this is one of the last things too. I don't know if you have a take on this, like a strong take on this, but I mean, you're active on CT. You post frequently. You post a lot. You share a lot of stuff here. Um, how I don't know how much just like impacted your ability to trade and VC deal flow and whatnot, but like moving forward, how impactful is having like influence on the internet and a large social presence going to be, if at all?
I think it will matter a ton because this kind of goes back to some of the venture stuff, but one of the things that's always underrated is distribution. If you have a great product and you have no distribution, nobody cares, nobody can get it. So I kind of think people have turned it, even the last like decade, right? Just like people have turned into corporations by themselves, like the actual person. Like nobody, people think of like LeBron, like MJ was probably the first version of it. It's like cool, Michael Jordan, and he turned himself into like a brand. Like Michael Jordan, the Jordan brand was kind of like the first version of like a public figure doing that. And now you just like every pro athlete is basically a brand. Every celebrity is kind of a brand. I think that's happening more and more. So to me, if you actually care about that stuff, like and you need distribution or it's beneficial for you, you should 100% be doing stuff online and posting stuff in public and doing as much as you can or like doing it if you enjoy doing it. That's like yeah, I think it's going to be huge. And I think the people who are on top of finding new audiences are going to outcompete kind of like maybe the people not willing to try new social media platform X, Y, and Z because you're just trying to like the distribute like I'm sure you know like the distribution you have on Twitch is probably different than your CT audience is probably different than like
Yes.
what like it's kind of all over the place and you're just like always trying to find new people if it's like a thing that matters for you. So yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's massive, and I think people should be doing it, and people should be doing stuff in public on the internet way more.
It's a complete game changer. I mean, especially there's dark sides to this, but especially in financial markets, like having a platform is sort of it's like
Yeah, it's
yeah.
huge, dude. It's huge. Even TradFi bros are like
Yeah.
these TradFi guys are like launching ETFs, and it's like he's launching an ETF, and people are dumping money into it because he's had a like online presence on fintech for a
See,
decade or
I think
something.
there's gonna be. I have this like general idea that there's gonna be an explosion of finance like content creators, for lack of a better term. It's like widely happened in the mainstream, right? It's like all these,
Yeah,
I Show Speed and Kai Cenat and Aiden Ross. All these guys are worth like 9 figures, but the market,
yeah,
the direct market for like finance content isn't exactly set yet. You can go raise a fuck ton of capital, or yeah, you launch an ETF. You could, you launch a coin. People dump
yep,
money into it, and then you see guys like TBPN and what they're doing, and it's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, this is there going to be more or less of this in the next couple of years, and it's like so obvious there's going to be more. It just lags a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's 100. Like when the OG kind of like, at least in my brain, the OG who's that guy? There's like some bald ass dude who used to have like, or maybe still has a finance show where people call in. He's kind of like a
Oh,
meme
Kramer,
now?
Kramer,
No,
Jim.
well him too, dude. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Kramer for sure. Yeah, he's basically built a career off that post Goldman. But there's some guy who gives like financial advice. The guy who's always like, "Oh,
Oh,
you should put your money in bond."
chat saying Ramsey.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
There's he was like the OG version of it, but I agree. I think there's gonna be a zillion, like way more of this stuff. Way more of it.
Yeah, I think it's a good take, and I think I don't know. Whenever I find like an account like yours, I get so hyped because it's like you don't have 200K, a million followers. It's not Ansem, but like
Yeah.
there's so much signal in the stuff that you put out, and like you don't really have to put it out. Like I'm sure you would be doing just fine without the Twitter account, and so it's always like I don't know. I like try to,
Yeah.
especially since I started streaming again. I feel like one of my edges in order to make the content good has to be guest selection. And so you have to like hunt people down. You have to like be scouring Twitter to like find, because there's so many people on CT.
Yeah.
And so it's always
Dude,
like
I gotta give you you're grinding like, yeah. You're grinding for the guests. You can't you can't
yeah,
knock
thank
it.
you, man. It's like, and
You're grinding for the guests.
I do my best to like once you come on, like let you, if you want to talk about your bags, talk about your bags, clip you, like try to make it worthwhile for people, because I know like in trading it's a little bit of a weird thing where like people are not like finance trading, people are not necessarily like dying to go on a media tour. You know what I mean? You kind of have to like
Yeah.
convince them that it's worthwhile. Um,
Yeah, it's
it's
true.
been fun since I kicked the tree. But you do the podcast. Show your podcast.
Yeah, I do have a podcast. It's called Smac Talk. It's mostly, dude, it's mostly because I got annoyed with like the crypto podcasts that
Yeah,
exist.
yeah, yeah, makes
And I was
sense.
like, we need to like talk to some of these people who are either building stuff or actually using these products, because I just feel like I felt like a lot of the crypto podcasts were like, this is what happened this week. It's like, bro, we're all on CT all day long.
Yeah,
Like we
we
know
don't
what
want
happened.
daily recaps, dude. We don't need daily recaps.
Yeah. So
The episode of
yeah,
Peach is
trying
awesome.
to find some of the other anons that I know.
The Peach episode is awesome. I haven't listened to too much of it yet, but I fucking love the Peach.
Yeah, Peach is a good. He's a cool dude.
He's so good.
Interesting guy.
Fascinating guy. All right, I'll let you go. Here's the last thing I want to ask you. It's I made the title. Also, when you see the clips, there was a typo and it says partners at Compound VC. I'm sorry. But the headline below it says how to make money this cycle. And so I guess more directly, like for a lot of people watching in the chat or listening to you, listening to interviews before that haven't made it yet in crypto, like what is your advice from Smac in 2025 on how to make it in crypto?
I would say people who will tell you that the edge in using the products is over. Everybody says all the time that was the last big airdrop. That was the last thing that you could get edge on chain. Like all that is such bullshit because there's so few people who are using it. If you're using crypto, all the new stuff, like I would just try to use stuff on chain as much as you can. Anything new, try it, use it, be like, oh, this is cool or this sucks. Because the stuff that's different always stands out immediately. And you'll be there earlier. Anybody who tells you that that edge is gone, I don't believe that at all.
I mean, look at fucking. I mean, I know it's the obvious cliche, but
Yeah.
now it wasn't. Look at fucking Hyperliquid.
Yep. Yeah. And here's the thing. It also doing that stuff, like you build way more conviction in the thing because you're like, this is so much better than all the alternatives. And so when people then you get like the FUD of like, oh, this is the next DYDX. It's like, bro, that comes from people who are not using it. And so it's like, you kind of like know the secret, and everybody's telling you it's not true. And it's like, I've used it. I know how good it is. Like, it's easier to develop conviction and to hold things if you're doing it that way, in my opinion.
I think it's a sick answer. Smack, dude, this was lit. I'm so happy you came on. I actually had a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was fun.
You have some good takes.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Is there anything else you want to shill before you head out?
No, I'm good. People find me if they find me.
That's so base, dude. Thank you so much. I'll start firing some clips on Twitter. You'll get tagged and whatnot. I'll try not to flood your feed, but no promises.